Yo! Today, I'm 18! And to celebrate that, I'm going to be showing you guys my interview with Atlas. Now, Atlas is one of the most popular Bonelab modders of all time, creating some of the most popular mods for Bonelab, being the lightsabers, the Force, and some of the vertigo weapons. Now, I'm going to be telling you guys about his experiences in being a modder, a guide to new modders, and his thoughts and ideas when it comes to modding. So, with my first question, let's ask, what brought you to modding, Atlas?
For me, I would say that was during Boneworks days. The modding SDK had this example map in it, and I was like, this seems pretty cool. I'm gonna start making mods for this game. So I took that example map and I modified it, but when I say modify, I mean I changed the layout barely, and I added my own little spawners to it to see how everything worked. I remember the lighting in that map was pretty poor, but that was kind of what got me into modding Bone games. Prior to that, I actually had done Unity during the pandemic. I worked on a Test Chamber 2 recreation using the standard Oculus interaction toolkit. I used that and made a recreation of TCO2. I don't have any remnants of it besides a Z-Pod model on a website called Tinkercad, which is 3D modeling for children. So that was kind of what got me into Unity, and then that got me to Boneworks. And then from Boneworks, I did nothing after I made that little demo scene, the modified one, until Bonelab's release, which was when I saw, hey, this game supports mods, and I was like, I might want to get into this. So around December of 2022 is when I decided, let's see what this is about. So I installed Miro SDK, and my first ever mod, which I didn't post about or show to anyone, was a Sketchfab Stormtrooper that I made an avatar of. I remember the fingers were all janked up, but that was my first ever mod. And then that got me into being like, hey, let's see what I can do with levels. So I went on and made Unnecessary Realism, which is a ripoff of the original Boneworks mods named Unnecessary Realism from Origami. And I made that, and from there, that kind of got me into Blue Box, which taught me a lot about the SDK in terms of grips and all of the types of scripts and everything that goes with that. And then the rest is history. That's how I kind of got into modding, and yeah. I'd have to say the transition from patch 3 to 4 was really difficult, because all of the tools and methods and knowledge that we had before with patch 3 was mostly thrown out the door in patch 4, because so many new systems and scripts were changed. A lot of the old scripts, the namespace of them changed. So things like grips and impact sounds, impact aspect script, all that stuff just broke. And we had to, when I say we, I mean the modding community, had to fix everything by hand, and it was manual, and it took a long time for us to get tools back that would help us mod easier. And once those tools started to come back and we started to get back into the flow of things, everything became a lot easier. But that time during patch 3 to 4 was very difficult because of just how manual everything was, and just the amount of stuff that broke that had to be fixed was overwhelming. But once everyone got past that and we kind of got into the patch 4 to 5 transition, that's when things started to get a lot better, because the tools that worked in the previous patch most likely worked in the next patch, and it made it a lot easier. So that was definitely the hardest time for me, and I probably speak for a lot of modders when I say that was also the hardest time for them. I would say so far for my released catalog of mods, I would say I'm most proud of Pool Day, Counter-Strike 2 Pool Day. I spent 3 months on that map, and I worked on it pretty much daily. It started off as just hey, I'm gonna port this map from Counter-Strike into Bonelab because it's a small map, there's not much there. But I was greatly mistaken, because there was a lot of props in that map, and I took such a long time to make all of those props. Everything you can see is interactable. The ammo canisters that have bullets in them, you can take the bullets and it will give you +1 ammo. If you pick up a rifle bullet, it will give you +1 in your rifle ammo. You can take the mags that are by the ammo cans, use them in an eater or an MP5. floaties are poppable with physics. The soap bottle can pump soap. The chairs are sittable. The reclining chair can move. You can adjust it. The diving board's physics. I did so much stuff for that map, and I think the final product of that is something that is pretty special. I haven't seen that many Bonelab maps that are like of that quality and amount of interaction, in the sense that like everything you see is interactable. Like if I see this prop that's on the floor, I can pick it up and I can do stuff with it, rather than just being stuck on the floor and I can just world grip it. I haven't seen many maps that go to the lengths I did with Pool Day to make everything interactable. So for modders, I would say that SLZ does a good job at making their tools polished. If you take example of this, look at their Mero SDK wiki on the GitHub, and you can see their documentation is extensive. And beyond just documentation, the tools themselves, if you don't look at the documentation, are well documented within Unity. If you hover over something that you don't know what it does, it'll give you a little tooltip and show you exactly what it does. And I think that they do a great job at making things polished. The zone system is polished. The concept of how it works is easy to grasp, and I think they intentionally designed it to be that way. And because of that, it makes modders that haven't made many mods before, like it's their first time modding, it makes it, I would assume, easier for them to understand how it works. And beyond just that, I think the tools that they give us, even though we don't have that many, are effective. Once again, the zone system, the avatar system, that is very polished. If you make an avatar, the way that you adjust the proportions of your body, like if it shows kind of like a mesh outline over your body to let you drag the proportions of your avatar for the colliders, that is very polished. You don't have to know how to even use Unity for it. You just kind of drag some spheres, and the whole way that works is easy to understand. It's polished, and I think that speaks to SLZ's greater goal of making the SDK polished. Even though we don't have much right now, I would assume in the future that everything they give us is going to be ultra clean and easy to use. And I think that other games, I can't speak too much on this because I don't know, but I would assume other games don't go to that much extent of polish. I would guess that a lot of other games just kind of give you the tools and some baseline level documentation and then let the community go wild. And both ways have their ups and downs. If you give the community all the tools possible, they make whatever they want to, but they're gonna have to figure out themselves and make documentation. And that's kind of how it's happened with us with the extended SDK. We've had to figure out how everything works and make our own documentation and tools. And then the other way is kind of what SLZ is doing, is giving us drip-fed SDK updates and tools. And that way is, in my opinion, better because it all of a sudden allows people who don't know how the stuff works to just jump right in and start making stuff. And I think that's the better route. And I think that's what Bonelab and SLZ does more effectively than other studios and games. I think that 7.8.9 is definitely a very much needed update for Bonelab. Where the game is right now, I am happy with it. I don't think that the SDK needs an update because of our extended SDK that has us covered with everything we could ever need. I think for 7.8.9 though, going beyond the SDK, the updated player rig is extremely valuable. The new IK legs with the monofoot is very cool, and I think that the way that whole system works with the new rig is going to help SLZ make their future titles better. So Brandon said with 7.8.9 that Boneworks 1.7 also going to release. I think that with Boneworks 1.7 releasing is important because now everyone who is on Quest gets to play that amazing game and get to play with the updated systems of Mero 2.0 with the inside-out body tracking and all the stuff that will come to SDK. I think that's important. Beyond just a better player rig and better systems in game, that also shows that SLZ is progressing with Mero. The addition of physics legs the addition of physics legs that is not a loco ball is very important because no other game has done this before. And it shows that they're progressing with Mero and making it more advanced. And same with the inside-out body tracking. That is an important feature that once again shows us that SLZ is progressing with Marrow, and in the future, hopefully they can focus on making their games a game rather than a tech demo, sort of like Bonelab. So myself, I don't use the SDK, I use the extended SDK, which is what a lot of other modders use. For those who don't know, the extended SDK is the regular Marrow SDK, but with all of Bonelab scripts added onto it. The way this works is you decompile the game and get dummy scripts, which when used in a mod in game get replaced with the real scripts and work. I would definitely say though that with the way that everything is right now with the extended SDK, I don't really see anything that needs to be improved beyond documentation. Because right now the way we have it, as in we can make our own logic with ult events, which is a way of making custom logic without custom scripts. Ult events is the saving grace, because all of a sudden now, instead of being limited to Bonelab scripts, we can make whatever logic we want to. And with that, I don't really see there being much of a limit due to the fact that we can just make our own logic. But like I said earlier, documentation is a big limiter for a lot of people that don't know what they're doing, because now they have to search in these Discord servers for ways of how scripts work, how to do certain things, ask questions. And I think documentation from SLZ about their systems that are not already documented would be very valuable, and I think is a larger limitation than people realize. Because these people that are making mods that are not in these Discord servers, like the Lava Gang server or the unofficial Bonelab server, they don't have access to knowledge, and they might just give up if they want to make something, and they're like, how am I to do this? And it's a specific problem with the SDK, and there's no documentation, they don't know what to do. So yeah, I think documentation is a large limiter for a lot of people that are doing Bonelab modding. I would say quite a lot. With a lot of my mods, in my server Atlas LLC, I'll host polls in my development channel to be like, hey, do you guys like this feature? Yes or no? Do you guys want me to release this mod now or later? Yes or no? And I think that is a large contributor of feedback in my mods. But also an even larger one is just people's feedback in general. Like if I publish a mod and someone comes back with a comment that's like, hey, I want to see this added, or I want to see this changed, or if this doesn't work well, I take that feedback into an update in the future, and that shapes my mods from the community. But yeah, I would say I definitely take community feedback pretty seriously. If it's a good feature or an addition, I'll do it. Or if it's a bad feature, I won't do it. But yeah, I would say I definitely take it pretty seriously, and because I want mods to be as best as possible. So hearing what people want and want change is important to me. So I have this notebook that has a list of everything I want to do this year, and I got, let me grab that notebook. I can't remember right now. Grab that.
A few inches later.
All right. So this is my epic notebook here. I've had this since I was a little kid. Ripped out a whole bunch of pages, as you can see there. Old drawings, and this is now my modding notebook. I've written a lot of stuff in here. But we go to this page here, we can see a large list of plans here. And let's see. So this is from a couple months ago, but we got the Virgo 12 pack. This is what I'm planning to do this year. The Veil avatar pack. I already have that modeled and rigged up. I just have to make it. After all this is over, the Virgo stuff, Counter-Strike and Veil, I want to do a large blanket update pass on all of my mods, where I go back to every single mod that I've ever released and I just update it. I make it better, I add stuff to it. I take community feedback. Like I'll post a ping in my server and be like, hey, what do you guys want changed with this mod? And I'll get all that feedback and change everything that anyone says that I agree with, and update the mod, so that all of my older mods are up to date and are functionally how people want them to be in 2026 or 2027. That is the next big project I want to take on, though, is the updating. I would say that the most favorite mod that I've made is the Vertigo 2 weapon pack. Once that releases, the amount of effort I put into that one to make it accurate and feel good is a lot. Like, seeing them in Bonelab without any context of the game itself is definitely like a jarring experience because they're so unique and weird in a good way, you know. When you see these weapons, you're like, you know, how do I use it? What does it do? Because it's not a regular gun, and I think that's something unique about Vertigo 2. You can see my awesome poster back there. You got that one. I also got an Into the Ether poster over there too. I don't post about it. I only post about the major stuff I'm developing and, you know, the features I've added. But in the background, I spend all day perfecting the Vertigo 2 weapons to be accurate and functionally identical to Vertigo. I spend hours on shader recreations. For example, for the projectile for the hammer and sickle weapon, it uses a special shader that doesn't work in our Bonelab URP, which is like the way the game renders itself. It doesn't work with our version of that for Bonelab, so I had to recreate it by hand, and I had to do that for so many other shaders. And I think that once this pack releases, it will be the newest mod that I'm most proud of, just because of how much effort I've had to put into everything to make it accurate and functionally identical. But in general, my most favorite mod that is out right now has to be Void Takeover. The developers Nolnan and Urika have poured so much of their time and effort into making that the ultimate campaign and experience. And combined with Evro's campaign tools, that mod is truly going to be one of the mods of all time. Nothing out there right now, in my opinion, compares to the quality of it and the goal of it, of making a real campaign, not just a short campaign or a not quality campaign. And that mod, every time I play it, when there's a new level for me to test, I get goosebumps of just how cool it is and how, you know, no one's ever done this before. It is truly an amazing mod, and I know that Nolnan and Urika will appreciate me saying this here. The biggest piece of advice I would give to someone who wants to start modding is don't jump in the deep end. The concept of Marrow SDK is very complex. There's a lot of stuff to learn, and if you've never used Unity before, definitely start simple. If the only thing I can recommend for someone who's starting is an avatar. Get yourself Unity, get yourself Marrow SDK, install that, set it up, and make an avatar. That is the simplest thing you can do to learn how everything works. If you do that, you'll learn the concept of crates, palettes, how prefabs work, the concept of what a material is, how to use textures, shaders, all that stuff. You'll learn everything that you need to learn for everything else in the future by doing an avatar. After doing an avatar and you start feeling good with the SDK and everything else, you can move on, in my opinion, to levels. And with levels, you'll learn how to do lighting, optimization, more advanced material and shader work, how to do crate spawners and use effective crate spawners to have good encounters and interactions with stuff around you. Once you learn levels, then you can move on to spawnables. Those are the most complex things you can ever learn with a SDK. With that, you have to learn how all the scripts work, how to troubleshoot. That's actually a big one right there, troubleshooting. The biggest piece of advice, second biggest piece of advice, troubleshooting. You need to learn how to troubleshoot. That is one of the most valuable things that you can learn. Being able to problem solve by yourself and come to a solution is very valuable, especially with the modding SDK or the Marrow SDK, where not everything's documented or stuff hasn't really been done before, so you have to find your own solutions and own ways to fix problems. I think that is very valuable. But going back with spawnables, it's very complex. If you're like, hey, I want to start modding, I want to make a gun on your first day, don't do it. There's so much to learn and there's so much to understand with spawnables that I can't recommend it for a beginner. So once again, avatar, then level, then spawnable. That's my biggest piece of advice along with troubleshooting.
Well, Atlas, this interview has been amazing. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me. It's been incredible.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me, man. I'm very happy to be on here. This is awesome. Sweet. I'm so excited for the video, bro. This is awesome.
Wow, what a great interview, Atlas. It was certainly interesting hearing about your experiences as a modder and your guide to new to modders. It's really helpful to hear your insights. Anyway, as it's my birthday, I've got this cake beautifully made by my family here. As you can see, it's one of the pictures in the game, the null body. But anyway, let's tuck in.